to the organizer of this event, the 40th one, to the faculties and students of Xavier University, of course, Dr. Maria Rosario Mosqueda, the Dean of College of Agriculture, Director June Bana-ay, Regional Irrigation Manager, Region 10, fellow government workers, friends from the private sector, good afternoon. Maayong hapon sa inyong tanan. Tinaot nga naakit ang tanan sa maayong kondisyon. Kauban na atong pamilya. Pangadji na lang na mahuman na ang COVID-19 pandemic. Region 10 is so close to my heart because my wife is from this region. She is from the Lanzones capital of the Philippines, Camiguin Island. For the next 30 minutes, I will be discussing to you the status of irrigation development in the whole Philippines, as well as its contribution to the development of our country. Ano nga ba ang estado ng irigasyon sa ating bayan? Where are we now as compared to our Asian neighbors like Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam? When I was in high school, that was in 1976, and that was 45 years ago, our teachers were telling us that the Philippines is a developing country. Imagine natin, up to this time, I am already 57 years old, we are still a developing country. In the 1960s, we are second to Japan in terms of economy. South Korea then was the poorest country in the whole of Asia, and that was because of the Korean War, and one of the poorest countries in the world. Today, these two countries are highly industrialized countries. Again, in the 1960s, engineers from Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam, to name a few, came to the Philippines to study irrigation, to study agriculture. And they were all enrolled sa International Rice Research Institute, IRI, and that was based in Region 4A in Laguna. 60 years after, the teacher, which is the Philippines, is importing rice now to its students, Vietnam and Thailand. We are exporting thousands and thousands of metric tons to these countries. Countries na estudyante natin in the 1960s. My question is, where did we go wrong? Nagkamali ba tayo ng priorities? Saan tayo napunta? Bakit hanggang ngayon parang mabagal ang ating development? My dear students, teachers, fellow workers in the government, and our friends from the private sectors, history will tell us that no countries in this world, that no countries in this planet became industrialized and highly developed unless we develop and strengthen the agricultural sector. Agriculture should first be developed. It should first be strengthened. And this is the key, which is the key and backbone of our country. Agriculture is the backbone of our economy. Countryside development is the key solution. Japan, Korea, Germany, to mention a few, did not become what they are now. They are now, inuna muna nila ang agriculture. So, introduction pa lang yan. So, wag po kayong matulog. At ang aking slide sa 876 lang naman ito. Matatapos natin ito. Okay? Next slide please. Okay. So nakikita po natin ngayon ang logo ng NIA. Napakagandang logo. Nakikita natin dito ang pagdaloy ng tubig. So before I will proceed with my topic, let me first introduce to you our agency. our agency, my agency together with Director Bana-ay. Yung iba sinasabi nila NIA, NIA, National Irrigation Administration, National Irrigation Authority, mali po yung authority. It is National Irrigation Administration. So I will now give you a brief background kung ano po itong ahensya namin. Okay, next slide. Okay, nakikita po natin ngayon dito, NIA's brief history. Yan po yung mga dams namin na ginawa. NIA is already 58 years old. Halos kasing edad ko po siya. And this was created under a batas, under Republic Act 3601 noong June 22, 1963. Kaya nga po, before the pandemic, meron kami ng anniversary nationwide. Pumupunta po lahat ang buong Pilipinas dito sa central office para i-celebrate ang anniversary namin ng June 22. And then, during the martial law years po, binroaden ang powers ng NIA. Binigyan kami ng additional na capital na 2 billion to improve agriculture, to improve the irrigation systems. September 11, ginawa yun ni President Marcos. Para a short bit trivia, ginawa niya ito dahil ito ang kanyang birthday noon. This is a gift of President Marcos to the Filipino people, particularly the farmers. And then nagkaroon naman kami ng mga amendments pa during the Marcos years and then in 1980. Next one, please. Okay, makikita naman po natin dito, sabi ng nasa slide, transfer. There were times po nang NIA parang ginawang bola. Pinagpasapasahan kami. Minsan, nung una, nandun kami sa DPWH during the Marcos years. Pagkatapos, naging under naman kami ng Department of Agriculture during the time ni FBR. And then Office of the President ulit during the time ni Tita Cory. Naging under din po kami ng OPAPSAM, kung natatanda ninyo, Office of the Presidential Advisor, yung modernization, under Senator Kiko Pangilinan. So on June 30, 2016, nung naging presidente po si President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, NIA was under the Office of the Cabinet Secretary. So hanggang ngayon po, ang NIA na Office of the President, particularly Office of the CABSEC po. Next. Okay, next slide. Okay. So yung brief background naman, pupunta man lang po tayo, ano po ba ang mandato ng NIA? Bakit kami nandito for the last 58 years? Okay po. Gusto ko lang ipabatid po sa inyo that the NIA is the only agency mandated by law for the irrigation development of the Philippines. By irrigation development, it means we have the power to investigate, we study, we improve, we construct, and administer all national irrigation systems nationwide. We have the authority to collect irrigation service fees to our beneficiaries. Ngayon, baka naman po magtaka kayo, bakit ang sabi ng manager ng IEC nangongolekta pa? Okay po. Meron po, during the campaign po ni President Roa Duterte, yan po ang pangako sa atin. Magkaroon tayo ng libreng patubig at ito po ay nangyari. Ito po yung Republic Act 10969 or FISA, Pre-Irrigation Service Act, na libre po ang patubig pero meron po siyang restriction. 8 hectares and below, libre na po ang patubig sa ating mga magsasaka. Pero pag ang lupa mo is more than 8.01 and beyond, NIA is mandated to collect irrigation service fee. Susunod na mandate naman niya, to supervise the operation and maintenance and administration of communal irrigation systems. Okay po. Ngayon po kung naririnig ninyo sa newspaper, napapanood sa TV, there was this devolution. So meron po kaming three phases ng devolution which will start in 2022 up to 2024. This is because of the Mandana's ruling. Because isang araw po noong 2013, pumunta si Congressman Mandanas at ng isa pang congressman ng Bataan, nagpetisyon sila sa Supreme Court. Ang petisyon na yan ano po ang petisyon nila? Yung pong IRA ng bawat LGUs, Internal Revenue Allotment. Nang sinasabi ni Congressman Mandanas noon na ngayon ay governor, dapat ang IRA ay manggagaling sa lahat ng income, not only from the internally generated fund income, pero dapat pati yung fund sa Bureau of Customs and so on and so forth kasama. In that case, pinaboran po ito ng Supreme Court, and then itataas ang IRA ng bawat LGUs by 27%, and then of course, madidevolve na yung ibang functions. Kaya po, by next year po, yung phase 1 natin, yung devolution. Communal irrigation systems will now be under the direct supervision and administration of local government units, but of course, with the technical assistance from NIA. Okay, next slide please. Huwag po kayong antukin. Sabi ko kanina, 876, nakakatatlo pa lang tayo, matatapos tayo agad. And then, ano pa yung ibang mandate ng NIA? Yung partial turnover sa mga IAs po, yung mga NIS na tinatawag natin, National Irrigation Systems. Kung naririnig nyo, merong Lupon, RIS, Padada, RIS, yung po yung mga example. We also construct drainage facilities and collect drainage fees. Ang drainage fee po na ito under a review po ng aking division. And then, yung dalawa na lang, yung engineering overhead, engineering charges, and General Appropriations Act. Wala pong problema yon. Next slide. Okay. Ngayon po, meron kayong nakikita mga dams, iba-iba may mga pumps. Ang nasa slide po ngayon, ito po yung scheme of development. Scheme of development, we mean the way irrigation water is given or is delivered to the farmers. So there are three schemes of development. The most important scheme is the run of river or diversion works, diversion projects. Ito po paglalagay ng dam, we are putting a barrier across a river, a lake, a stream, para mag-create siya ng head, para may divert natin ang water sa kanan o sa kaliwa. Kaya nga po, water source here is from the river, and irrigation is dependent kung gaano kalaki, karami ang tubig, because dinadivert lang po ito. Example nga, meron tayong mga lupon, yung mga lupon river, Padada, and so on and so forth. And then meron naman po tayong storage or reservoir. Involves construction ng mga dams natin to impound water and use that in future use, lalo na pagtag-ulan. Example of that po, yung Pantabangan Dam natin, the famous Pantabangan Dam and the Magat River in Isabela. And then yung kahuli-hulihan naman po, these are what we call the pump projects. So we are lifting water from underground or from surface and deliver it sa higher areas po. So dito pwedeng gumamit tayo ng mga shallow tube wells, deep well, and so on and so forth. Okay. Next slide. Okay. Yung kanina nga po yung pambungad kong pananalita, may introduction. Nagkamali ba tayo? Bakit medyo mabagal ang development natin? Yung bang priority ng gobyerno nasa tamang daan para magkaroon tayo ng improve irrigation, improve water delivery, improve agriculture. This slide will tell us the development of irrigation. This is now the status of irrigation development in our country. Are we fast or slow? Sasagutin ko po siguro medyo mabagal tayo. As of December 31 po, 2020, the potential irrigable area, the irrigation development of our country stands at 64%. So in 2005 po, yung leftmost portion, it was 45. So for a period of 15 years po, nagkaroon po tayo ng around 19% irrigation development. That is an average of 1.23% increase per annum. So ngayon po, as of December, 64% na po tayo. Nakaka-64% na po ang nade-develop ng NIA out of the 3.128 million hectares po. Next one. Okay. Ngayon po, ang tanong ko, bakit po kaya tayo mabagal sa development? Bakit po tayo nag-i-import sa Vietnam at natigil na ang pag-export natin in the 1960s? Ano bang mga dahilan? Kung titignan po natin, a glimpse of Philippine agriculture, ang mga Asian neighbors po natin, particularly Japan, Korea, Singapore, they started mechanization in their farms in the 1960s and in the 1970s. The Philippines started only in 2010. So imagine po natin, 2010 lang tayo nagsimula, meaning nakaka-11 years pa lang tayo compared to Korea and Japan na noong 1960s pa po. Please be informed that the Philippine crop, notably rice, still costs more than the Thailand or Vietnam rice because of high cost of production. Napakataas po ng production ng Pilipinas para makaproduce tayo ng 1 kilo. Filipino farmers spend around 12 pesos to produce 1 kilo. Thailand farmers produce only 8 pesos and 50 centavos per kilo. Vietnamese farmers spends around 5 pesos and 60 centavos per kilo. So kaya titingnan po natin ngayon, ang Pilipinas, very rich in natural resources, high cost of production, 12 pesos against the Vietnamese farmer of only 6 pesos and Thai farmers of only 8 pesos. Ano ba ang dahilan? Okay, ang unang dahilan po rito, the hiring of extra hands to harvest crops and prepare them for the market. This is the biggest factor in jacking up the production cost of rice. Cost of labor is one of the biggest contributor to high cost of production. Ang nangyayari po sa atin, because of our culture, ayaw nating ma-displace yung mga tao sa mga nayon, sa mga baryo. We do not want to displace people in the locality. Yung mga nanggagapas, which we hire, ayaw natin mawalan ng trabaho. Still in the countryside, makakakita pa tayo ng kalabaw. Doon sa aking bayan sa Candaba, sa Pampanga, kalabaw pa rin ang ginagamit. Pag nanggagapas, nag-harvest na, tao pa rin ang ginagamit. So if we are hiring personnel, that will be an additional cost. Kaya nga po ang Vietnam, na iyan nagkaroon ng giyera, the Vietnam War in the 1950s, the Korean War in the 1950s, pero nag-mechanize sila. That's why the price of palay, production cost per kilo is lower as compared sa Pilipinas. Okay po. Yung level of mechanization naman. Yung mechanization, ito po yung minimeasure ito horsepower per hectare. Ang Pilipinas po, it is only 1.23 horsepower per hectare. Japan, 19 horsepower per hectare. Korea, 9.38. India, ang India, natalo pa tayo ng India, 2.22 hectares lang. Ang Thailand, 4.22. Kaya nga po tayo ay nag-i-import ng mga Vietnamese rice, Thai rice, Malaysian rice, and of course, yung masarap na bakal na Japanese, yung Japonica rice. Because mura, nakakapag-import sila sa atin, nakakapag-export sila sa atin dahil mura ang production cost. Okay po. Yun po yung dahilan kung bakit nahuhuli tayo sa ating mga Asian countries, mga Asian neighbors. Okay. Ang slide naman po ito ay makikita natin, ito po ay inventaryo namin every February of each year. Na ang nasabi ko kanina, the percentage of irrigation development stands at 64.12%. Meaning out of the 3.3 million na potential area, the agency, our NIA, had already developed 2.006 million for a percentage of 64%. So yung remaining 35%, at this rate, baka mga 30 years pa, mga 30 years bago tayo makapag 100%, if it's the same rate, 1.23, mga 90 na siguro ako noon. And then yung iba po, nakapag-asawa na siguro kung nag-aaral pa sa Xavier ngayon. Okay, next slide. Okay, ito naman po slide na ito po yung pie graph natin. Pinapakita lang po natin dito. The blue one, this is the remaining area pa. It's around 36% na i-develop po ng aming agency. From regions 1 to 13, alam po yan ni Director Bana-ay. And then yung na-develop na po natin is around 2 million representing 64%. So malaki-laki na rin po. 64% for a period of 58 years. Okay. Next one, Alexis. Okay. Develop service area by system. So yung nakita po nyo kanina, so yung mga National Irrigation Systems, ito po ang mga minomonitor o ng NIA, NIS and CIS. And the other ones are the privately owned irrigation systems and the other government agency systems. Yung other government agencies po, nandiyan po yung BSWM of the Department of Agriculture. So ang National Irrigation Systems, NIS, these are being operated by NIA, 933,000 hectares po yan. And then the communal, that is for devolution po, it's around 726,000 hectares. Okay, next one. Okay. Ito naman po yung O&M performance. Ito po yung mga minomonitor namin sa Operations Department kung ano po ang kalagayan ng ating mga service area. So ngayon po ang nasabi ko nga kanina lang, service area namin, iyan po nakikita nyo, 933,000 and 725,000 respectively. Out of that service area, meron tayong firm-up service area na 800 and 620 respectively for NIS at CIS. Ano po ba itong FUSA na ito? Hindi po ito kamag-anak ng ASO. FUSA po stands for firm-up service area, wherein every year po nagkakaroon kami ng firming up of areas, yung pong mga permanently non-restorable, na-convert po into residential, yung mga subdivisions po. Kahit dyan po sa region 10, marami po na-convert, tinatanggal po natin yan sa service area ng NIA. Kaya every year po, we come up with a firm-up service area. And then meron po yung nakita rito, operational, non-operational. Pag pinag-add mo po yan, that will be equal to FUSA. Non-operational naman po, ito po yung mga areas namin that needs to be restored para bumalik sa dati nilang kalagayan. These are the non-restorable, these are the areas for restoration works. So ito po, meron kaming mga new projects and then restoration works for existing facilities. So tingnan po natin yung mga na-irrigate, medyo mababa dun sa operational kasi po there are some, yung iba po economic reasons, kulang ng pera, hindi niya matamnan agad. Kaya po hindi po siya fully planted yung operational area because of some personal reasons by our dear farmers. Okay, next one. Okay, ang susunod na po ng aming pinapakita kong slide, Status of 2021 programs. Hindi po natin ito iisa-isahin. Pinapakita ko lang po dito na ito po, these are the programs and projects of the National Irrigation System for as of June 30, 2021, wherein we have line projects, we have foreign assisted projects, and at the same time, locally funded projects. Next slide, please. So this is for 2021. Iba-iba po yan. Mga projects na yan, that is from Luzon to Mindanao. Next one, please. Okay. Next one. Okay po. Kung makikita natin dito, for 2021, we were able to accomplish around 39% po physical accomplishment and financial accomplishment of around 20%. We are hoping that by June siguro po of next year, we can already complete this one or baka target na or March of next year because it's only 39%. We have slow phase implementation because we all know ito po yung dulot ng COVID. Medyo bumagal po lahat ang ikot ng mundo sa atin. So we are hoping na mapatapos po lahat ang mga ongoing projects, new projects, and then existing projects for the improvement of the quality of lives of our farmers. Next one, please. So ito po naman 2020, pinapakita ko rin, halos pareho lang po siya. It's a continuation of the projects of the agency. Okay, next one. Okay, next one. Next one. No, ibalik mo. Balik. Okay, sa 2020 po, pinapakita ko lang ngayon sa atin, sa ating mga nakikinig at nanonood sa Facebook, na for 2020, we have already completed around 92%, 91.60 or around 92%, with the financial accomplishment of around 70%. We are hoping that we can complete this one by December this year or early first quarter of next year. And again, one of the problems nga po na encounter is of course, alam natin, yung si COVID-19. Okay po. Next one, please. Okay, ito po yung mga pictures. So actually kanina puro ako daldal ng daldal para ma-appreciate naman natin yung sinasabi kong scheme of irrigation. The most common one, ito po yan. This is the most common scheme of irrigation, ang diversion dam po. Kasi sinasabi mo pa, maglalagay tayo ng barrier across a river. So ito po yan. Ang sample po natin dito, di ba Obo NIS in Region 13, the Adalang CIS, RIS in Nueva Ecija po. In Isabela. Okay, that's an example of a diversion dam. Next one, please. Okay, the reservoir naman po. These are the projects, the most sikat na mga reservoir sa Pilipinas natin. The Pantamangan Dam in Nueva Ecija and the Magat Dam. These are reservoir type projects and these are monumental projects constructed by the agency. Yung pong Pantabangan Dam, in the 1970s po, a high-ranking official of the World Bank says, the National Irrigation Administration is the best agency, irrigation agency in any developing country. Dito po tayo sumikat, ang NIA sa pag-construct ng Pantabangan because Pantabangan Dam was constructed 15 months ahead of schedule. And this was constructed by all Filipino consultants and engineers. In the 1970s, hindi po tayo nag-hire ng foreign consultants. Lahat po Pinoy. At natapos natin ang Pantabangan Dam 15 months ahead of schedule. Kaya namangha ang World Bank, yun ang ating lending institution. This is probably the best irrigation agency in any developing country, and that is the NIA, the old glory of NIA, na bumabalik po ngayon. Next one, please. Okay, irrigation pumps naman po. This is the scheme na idadalhin natin ng tubig from a source to a higher elevation by using pumps po. So this is an example of an irrigation pump located in Ilocos Sur. And this is the Banawang Pump Irrigation System. Susunod naman, malapit na po tayong matapos. Mga 3 hours na lang. Other noteworthy projects of NIA. Okay, next one. Okay. Establishment of solar power pump irrigation project. Medyo naiba na po ito sa panlasa ng NIA. Today po, we cannot just rely on the traditional method, the conventional method of irrigation. Kung dati meron tayong shallow tube wells, ngayon naman po, we are starting little by little the establishment of solar power pumps using the source of the heat of the sun to be converted into energy na gagamitin po nating pang-irrigate sa ating mga patubig. One example of that is the solar water pump in Hala-Hala Rizal in Region 4A. These are small irrigation systems around 10 hectares po. It's a very successful one in Hala-Hala Rizal using the strength, using the power of the sun. Next one, please. Okay, meron naman po tayo mga small reservoir irrigation projects. If we have the Pantabangan and the Magat Dam, these are big reservoir irrigation projects. Meron tayo naman mga cute na tinatawag. These are what we call the SRIPs, small reservoir irrigation projects. Same scheme, same principle, pero smaller in magnitude. So we have done one in Talibon in Region 7 and then also in Tangilad SRIP. We call them SRIP, Small Reservoir Irrigation Projects. Next one. Okay, climate change adaptation works. So ito pong project na ito, this is under my direct supervision. This is under the Irrigation Engineering Center. Climate change. I would like to inform this body na ang kalaban po natin, ang pinakamatinding kalaban natin, it is not COVID-19, but it is climate change. History will tell us again that a pandemic will only last in a maximum of 3 years. Average is 2 years. The 1920 pandemic, the Spanish flu, it lasted only for 2 years. The 1820 plague, which killed millions of people around the world, it lasted for 2 years. If that was in 1820, 1920, 2020 po tayo, technology is higher. Iba na po yung technology ngayon. Maybe by next year, we have a better year. Maybe by Christmas, we have no more masks because meron na po tayong vaccine. But this climate change, it will last forever unless the planet will do its own way of preserving this planet. Yan po ang kalaban natin. Climate change kills us every day. The great floods nangyayari, yung mga floods nakikita natin sa TV. What happened on November 8, 2013 in Region 8 in Tacloban? That was November 8, Friday at 5 o'clock a.m. I was there. So I experienced the effect of Yolanda. Kala namin hindi na kami makakaligtas. We were transported from Tacloban via C-130 plane. Cargo plane lang po kami. Talagang Yolanda, that Typhoon Haiyan, it was brought out by climate change po. So ito po yung mga, so on the part of NIA, meron po tayo mga river protection in dams. Yung po yung mga ginagawa natin. Next one, please. And then we install more rainfall and river gauging installations. Kung narinig po ninyo mga 3 months ago or 4 months ago, the great flood in Cagayan Valley, sinasabi nila, ang problema daw, may kasalanan daw yung pagre-release ng NIA, yung magat. So, na-resolve na po yon. So, what are the interventions? One is the physical intervention, installation of more river gauging stations. Mga rain gauges po para magkaroon tayo ng analysis kung gaano, how many millimeters of rain will fall. Okay, next one. Okay, ang pag-address ng climate change, hindi lang yung magsemento ka ng kanal, maglagay ka ng protection works, but we have to know the source. Kaya nga meron tayong watershed management. Every year, meron tayong tree planting activities. We have this reforestation activities. For the watershed of Mangat and Pantabangan, meron po tayong mga watershed management program being funded by the agency every year. That is to address the effect of climate change. Okay? Next one, please. Okay. Ano naman itong nakikita natin ito? Pag titingnan po natin mabuti, para siyang coconut. Kaya nga po nung panahong yun, naubos ata ang mga buko, ang mga coconut trees, ginamit nilang coconut. So before po, during our previous administrator, he tried another intervention, which is the coconut, na nilalagay po natin sa mga slopes po natin to mitigate the effects of soil erosion. So nakita po namin sa aming pag-aaral, sa aming review, that the use of coconut, hindi siya masyadong ina-address yung mga erosion. So right now, my division, the Irrigation Engineering Center, we are making a study about the slope protection being used by the Department of Public Works and Highways. These are expensive one compared to coconut, pero long-lasting naman po, parang ever-ready. So we will be coming up with the recommendations sa top management kung pwede itong gamitin sa NIA. What we are now reviewing and analyzing sa IEC is the applicability ng intervention na ito to our irrigation facilities and structures. Next one, please. Okay, meron din po kaming hydropower. That is to supply additional power sa Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao grid because we have that scarcity. Nagkakaroon tayo ng power shortages. So the existing facilities po, meron po kaming programa rin ngayon sa investment committee na we can, some mga companies po, they can put gadgets, they can put gadgets along our canals para it will produce electricity. So mga mini hydropowers po. Next one, please. Okay. Yung po yung sa Kasiknan, meron po tayo dyan. It creates power and then merong irrigation and so on and so forth. Okay, next one. Okay. And my last topic po is NIA's intervention to cope up with El Nino. So with El Nino, La Nina brought about by climate change. Ang nasabi ko nga po kanina sa previous slides ko, sa kanina, na ang talagang kalaban natin dito is not the pandemic, but it is climate change. It has, this is a worldwide problem being faced by countries in the world. Pero ito po very susceptible tayo that we, the developing countries, like Myanmar, Philippines, Cambodia, and so on and so forth. Okay. There are two methods to combat climate change dito po sa NIA. One is technical and financial intervention, technical and financial, and the second intervention is procedural. Technical, ito yung maglalagay tayo mga physical interventions, mag-line ka ng kanal, and procedural interventions in the forms of circulars, directives, para ma-address natin yung water shortage, ma-address natin ang climate change. Next one, please. Okay, ito po. We have immediate response. We have immediate response and long-term. Sa immediate response po, it composed of dalawang segments siya, procedural intervention and technical intervention. Yung regulate dam release, that is procedural. Mag-adapt tayo ng rotational method, ipaikot natin yung pagbibigay ng tubig, procedural, adjust cropping calendar para pag tayo ay umanin dun sa driest month, rationalized program area, diversified cropping. when I assume as the manager of this Irrigation Engineering Center, ang una ko pong ginawa, itong diversification of crops. We cannot just rely on rice and rice and rice. We have to diversify. Kung tag-ulan, we have to plant water-resistant plant. Pag tagtuyot naman, we have to plant drought-resistant crops. In that way, the whole year round, merong pagkain, merong income ang ating farmers. Repair of irrigation canals, these are technical interventions. Install water augmentation pumps, again, technical intervention. Short-growing varieties, procedural. Paddy dikes, alternate wetting and drying, procedural. Next one. Okay, ang long term naman po, magkakaroon tayo ng maglagay tayo ng drainage recycling, regulate water withdrawals. We ascertain the episode of the impact, lining of canals. Because pag nag-line tayo po ng canal, we can save 30% of water dahil yung sa seepage po. Dahil yan sementado na, mawawala na po yung seepage natin, kundi evaporation na lang. And then replant, irrigation, watersheds. Ito po yung watershed management that I had discussed a while ago. And then ang susunod kong slide, okay? Next one please. Okay, my next slide is a 2-minute video presentation. Makikita po natin dito kung ano ang nai-present ko, and at the same time, let us give respect to our farmers. Okay, video please. This is only 2 minutes.
Isang magsasaka ang tawag sa akin. Ako'y nagproduce ng pagkain. Sipag at tiyaga ang tanging puhunan upang makamtan ang kaginhawaan. Mahirap noong wala pa ang niya, dahil ulan lamang ang tanging pag-asa. Ngunit nang mayroon na patubig ang niya, ani sa bukirin naging masagana. Sa aking mga kapatid na magsasaka, kasama mo ang niya sa iyong pagginhawa. Laging magtulungan at huwag kalimutan, serbisyo sa patubig ay tulong sa bayan. Kung mayroong problema sa aking sinasaka, lumalapit agad sa niya upang maliwanagan at aking makamtan ang kasaganaan. Sa Millennium 2000, sa aking mga kapatid na magsasaka, kasama mo ang niya sa iyong pagginhawa. Laging magtulungan at huwag kalimutan, serbisyo sa patubig ay tulong sa bayan. Lagi kong dalangin at inaasam, magsasaka at niya'y laging suportahan. At umasa kayong di kakaligtaan, serbisyo sa patubig ay tulong sa bayan. Serbisyo sa patubig, kailangan ng bayan.
And this is a video presentation about the farmers and NIA's contribution. Parang this is a summary of what I have discussed and the status of irrigation. Okay, so this is my last slide po, and magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Just proceed po muna to our open forum. Meron na pong several questions na gustong itanong yung ating audience. Okay lang po ba, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Opo, opo.
Okay.
Ah,
Okay po, so let's start with the first question. Ito po, may nagtatanong po, based on your inventory of terms of coverage, of area of coverage, why is it that there are regions that in which there are more wait lang po sir, wait lang. Based on your inventory of in terms of area coverage, why is it that there are regions in which irrigations are more developed compared to other regions?
okay po. Kung nakita natin kanina yung presentation ko, there are regions. In Region 7, it is 102%. And then the lowest irrigation development is Region 12. And that is around 39%, if I am not mistaken. I am not mistaken. So una po, naturally, we are located strategically. The Philippines is an archipelago. Every place, we have different culture, different traditions, and of course, different officials manning our irrigation systems. There are very cooperative farmers, very cooperative LGUs, and so on and so forth. Kung titignan natin ang Region 7, mataas siya. One reason is it is not frequently visited by typhoons. And then medyo maliit lang ang area niya compared to others. Region 12, it is around 39 ba o 32, I'm not mistaken. Nagkakaroon tayo ng problema dito. What is peace and order? Nagkakaroon po tayo. Region 12, Region 9, and then some parts of Region 10, yung pong mga Muslim areas natin. So kaya nga po nagkakaroon tayo ng mga iba't ibang, and then in Region 3 naman po, there were times na napakabagal because of the eruption of Mount Pinatubo. Meron kami peace and order problem in Region 8, Region 6, in my home region, Pampanga, in Region 3. Kaya po, these are the factors na minsan, iba-iba po. And then, minsan yung prioritization po, minsan sa pondo naman, may nabibigyan na mas maraming pondo. And then, yung iba naman, talagang ang irrigation development is bababa because of force majeure and some other external and internal factors po.
I see. Okay. Thank you, sir, for clearing that up. So there are really a lot of factors in play, no, with the development of this irrigation area. So there are a lot of things to consider. Kaya nga
Yes,
merong
ma'am.
mga differences per region. Okay. Thank you so much for that, sir. Let's go to the next question. Somebody is asking, with the devolution of the function to the LGU, do the LGUs have the capacity to manage the irrigation systems, considering that technical and human resources are already limited?
Kilala po natin si Senator Nene Pimentel, your kababayan. He was the father of the Local Government Code of 1991. Under that code, nakalagay po doon, the devolution of some government offices from national to the local. Ano pong nangyari noon? That was in 1991. That's around 30 years ago. Hindi po nangyari of what is expected. The communal irrigation systems, they are supposed to be devolved in 1991 pa. So bakit siya failure? Number one is, it is not a priority by the local government units. Second, they do not have the technical capability to construct, to monitor, and to repair irrigation systems. So yung mga mayor pong yan, bago nila ipagawa yung dam sa napakalayong lugar, sa bundok, ay magpagawa na lang ako ng waiting shed na nandoon yung through the efforts of Mayor Juan de la Cruz, magpagawa ng lako ng public market. At iniisip din nila, saniya yan. Kahit anong gawin mo, saniya yan. They do not have, number one, the technical capability to undertake such project. Because ang paggawa po ng dam, mahirap po yan. It is a specialized experience, specialized training. Baka po instead na yung tubig po pumunta doon sa palayan, mag-backflow. Yun po ang naging dahilan kaya hindi naging successful. Kaya ngayon po, meron naman tayo yung Mandanas ruling, i-devolve na naman po ulit, but actually, yan ay dapat noon pa, pero hindi siya naging successful po. Kaya dahil hindi siya naging successful, nagka-problema. Kaya po ang unang nagpabalik ang Department of Health. Nung makita nila kulang ang mga basic needs nila, ang mga gamot, gumawa sila ng resolution ata para ibalik ulit sa national. So, no technical capability po. Yun po yun. Next one po.
Okay po. Thank you so much for that, sir. Now, I think this is in connection to the previous question. Still with the devolution of the function to the LGUs po. What can NIA do if the LGUs concerned will not perform their responsibilities?
Ang nasabi ko nga po noon, yun ay batas na yon noong 1991. There were LGUs, there were cooperative LGUs na ginawa din naman po ang kanilang trabaho, ang kanilang obligasyon because it's a law. And then, dahil nga nagkaroon ng problema dyan, dumating yung APMA, Agriculture Fisheries Modernization Act, para ito'y maging project dahil wala silang capability nga technically and then financially. Kaya dumating yung APMA law. Dumating yung mga balikatan sa patubig para magkaroon ng sharing, cost sharing. 60% NIA, 40% LGU. Ngayon po, ang tanong, anong magagawa ng NIA? So kung after 1 year or after 2 years or after 3 years, the same banana, baka po mapipilitan yung kung ano rin po nangyari. History will just repeat itself noong 1991. Baka babalik, wala naman tayong police power na, hoy, mayor, gawin mo yan. Ito po yung batas, let the DILG do its share, yung act po kung i-reprimand yung mga mayor. Basta kami po, we have this transition plan na ginagawa namin dito sa central office. Ita-transfer po namin yan sa mga governor, sa mga mayors natin. And then, let the concerned agency monitor the extent the extent of the devolution. Basta kami po on our part, we will devolve because we have to follow the Mandanas ruling po. Ganun po yun. Next one.
Okay, thank you so much for that, sir. Now let's go to the next question. This one is from Sherlyn Saavedra, one of our Facebook viewers. Question for Engineer Leslie Dizon. Currently, what is the biggest challenge NIA and the Philippines is facing in farm irrigation development to chase lower production costs of nearby Asian countries which can even export rice? And how can we deal with it, sir?
Ang unang-una po, ano mga challenges natin?
Opo.
NIA is already 58 years old. Pasensya na po, nag-alarm lang yung cellphone ko kasi meron kaming health check. Yung everyday po yan para sa COVID. Ngayon po, pasensya na po kayo. Ano ang mga challenges ni NIA? Una po, we have aging and dilapidated structures and facilities. The average life po ng mga facilities namin, it's around mga 40 years because NIA has been in existence for the last 58 years. Aging and dilapidated structures and facilities. Number 2, climate change. As sinabi ko nga po, this is the biggest threat to humanity. Water source nawawala po. The river morphology na iba po. We have earthquakes and so on and so forth. Kakagawa lang po ng isang facility ngayon, kinabukasan may earthquake, patay ang facility. Kare-restore lang po namin ng Lupon River Irrigation System ngayon, dumating ang calamity, wash out lahat ang mga ginawa namin. And then, that is, ang sinasabi ko, kalamidad pa lang ngayon. How about the natural deterioration? We have a 2% to 3% annual deterioration rate of facilities. That is under the normal circumstances po yan. Because sinasabi ko nga, 58 years na ang NIA, so meron na tayong annual annual parang depreciation kung sa business, annual depreciation, we have this annual deterioration rate of 2% to 3%. And then, yun ang physical natin. Bakit tayo we cannot compete with Vietnam? How can you compete with Vietnam if Vietnam can only produce 6 pesos, as is 12 pesos? Thailand is 8 pesos. Ano ba sinabi ko kanina? Mechanization is the key. Hanggang ngayon, doon sa bayan ko sa Candaba, sa Pampanga, kalabaw pa rin ang ginagamit. Dapat ang kalabaw ay ginagamit na lang nating alaga. But still, they are using that as the beast of burden para mag-cultivate. We need mechanization. And then, ang isa pa po is the mindset up ng mga Pilipino. Iba-iba po tayo because we are an archipelago. We were occupied by different countries. Kaya po nung ako'y nag-aaral sa Japan, yan po yung naging lumabas na pag-aaral nila. Japan was bombed in 1945. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. 10 years after, they stood up from the ashes. Korean War, dahil nag-aral din ako sa Korea. Korea was the poorest country, one of the poorest countries in the whole world. But after the Korean War, tingnan mo ang Korea ngayon. Singapore, a very small country. Pwede mo lakarin ng Singapore ng 5 oras. Nasa Johor Bahru ka na ng Malaysia. So yun po yung yung mindset ng tao, discipline, priorities of the government, political intervention, and so on and so forth. And of course, pinakamabigat dyan is force majeure. And then, since Philippines, saan ba tayo? Nasa ring of fire tayo. Every year, we have 20 to 30 typhoons being visited by us. Nandiyan si Yolanda, nandiyan yung iba-iba pa. So ito po, pag pinagsama-sama po natin ito, that will be the contributory factors why we have a very slow pace in irrigation development.
Yes.
Next one.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that, sir. Now, let's go to the next question. This one, somebody is asking po, the Department of Agriculture also has irrigation programs for farmers. What is the role of NIA in these projects?
NIA, as I've said, this is the only this is the only government agency mandated by law to undertake irrigation development. Yung sinasabi nilang sa DA, this is the BSWM, Bureau of Soil and Water Management. Meron din silang maliliit na, they call it Swiss projects. Iniba po nila. Pero actually, kung titingnan po natin, we are the only agency talaga mandated by law. Kung titingnan po natin ang mandate ni BSWM, that is for research and development. So anong connection niya? Before po kasi, during the time ni Secretary Engr, when we were under the Department of Agriculture, talagang there is this collaborative effort. Kung titingnan natin, agriculture, paano mo mabubuhay ang agriculture? There should be water, irrigation, and plant and crops, that is pagkain ng farmers. So nagkaroon ka ng collaboration, mga coordination, mga projects natin. Meron sila mga priority projects, and then they give us their mga listahan nila for possible inclusion sa atin. So ngayon po, we are under the CABSEC. Meron po silang sarili ngayong mga projects na hindi namin, pero po kaming demarcation. So okay, BSWM, this is for NIA. So hindi po kami nagkakaroon ng conflict of interest, conflict with each other as far as baka nagkakaroon ng overlapping. Properly delineated po ang service area ni NIA, then properly delineated din yung service area ni BSWM.
I see. Thank you for clearing that up, sir. So, okay, that's clear. There is no overlap, no, between BSWM and NIA. Okay, that's good to hear. Now, sir, I think this is the last question for your presentation. Somebody is asking po, thousands of rice fields were already converted to other land use, like subdivisions. Are there programs from NIA that prevent this from happening?
Okay po. Kaya nasabi ko nga po kanina yung firm of service area. So that is every year po tinatanggal natin sa ating service area yung mga hindi na mapapakinabangan. Permanent submergence, permanently non-restorable, and conversion from agricultural to non-agricultural areas. So ito po yung mga subdivisions, industries, mga Petron, Caltex, makikita natin sa expressways na ginawa po nila. So meron ba tayong magagawa rito? So dito po, yung mga conversion po, ang participation po ni NIA rito is, marami pong checklist yan on how to convert. And this is under my division again. Yung we certify, of course, galing yan magsisimula yan sa regional office, whether the lot is irrigated or non-irrigated. Irrigated, CIC, Certificate of Irrigation Coverage, and CNIC, Certificate of Non-Irrigation Coverage. So nakita po namin ngayon, minsan magagaling yung mga landowners, magagaling yung mga developers, nakagawa sila ng butas. Nakita po namin, nung pag-upo ko dito sa Irrigation Engineering Center, pag babayaran lang nila yung irrigation cost, babayaran. Within irrigation service, ang nilalagay ng mga field offices natin, already backfilled. Graba nilagay, they construct pens, sasarahan nila, backfill materials. So, pag ikaw ay nag-backfill ng materials, hindi na siya suitable for agriculture. So ngayon po, meron kaming ginawa ngayon, nandun sa, pinresent ko na po sa Execom in order to decrease. Hindi ko po sasabihin na mitigate, decrease, pero we cannot matanggal yon. Meron po kong nakapropose na memorandum circular to all regional offices na bago, and then meron pa kaming meeting with DAR, kay Yusek Pamulayan, about conversion. Meron kaming gagawin dito, yung premature development. Kasi nga naglalagay sila ng graba para makonsider na not suitable for irrigation. Doon sa MC gagawin po natin in coordination with DAR, hindi pwede ang premature development pag ito ay merong irrigation water. So ito po ay pinafinalize namin ngayon. I think by next week we will have a meeting with DAR para magkaroon na po ng finalization. And of course, mamitigate natin kahit kaunti lamang ang mga nang-abuso sa illegal conversion and premature development po. Papunta na po kami ng DAR next week. I authored this intervention.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that, sir. So I know that our viewers still have a lot of questions, but we still have another speaker. So wait lang kayo sa mga viewers natin dyan. Anyway, sir, before, of course, we end this part of our webinar, let me just ask for a message from you to all of our viewers. Since we have a lot of viewers this afternoon, we have from the academe, from the different government agencies, from the LGUs, and from the private sector. So ano po yung gusto nyong, yung mensahe nyo para sa kanila?
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Joanne. Okay, ang message ko na lang po para maiba naman. Baka yung iba inaantok sa akin. Alam po ba niyo yung mga slogans natin? Mga slogan ng mga big companies, yung mga slogan na yan, pagsamasamahin natin, that will be my message sa ating mga viewers, and that is also the service being provided by NIA. So ito po yan, Channel 2. Kilala natin yung ABS-CBN. Ano ang slogan ng Channel 2? In the service of the Filipino. So NIA is at the service to the Filipino people 24/7. Meralco, alam po natin yung Meralco. Ang slogan niya, may liwanag ang buhay. There is light for every farmers. Metrobank, you're in good hands. Di ba? Farmers are at good hands with the National Irrigation Administration. Petron, we fuel success. NIA ignites improvement to the quality of life of farmers. O yung isa pa, yung kay MVP sa kabayan ko, si Manny Pangil, PLDT, we challenge lives. Yun ang slogan nila. Sa amin naman sa NIA, we challenge lives for the better life of farmers. O yung pinakasikat, Jollibee, iba ang sarap sa NIA, sa Jollibee pala, bida ang sarap, di ba? Bida. Sa NIA naman, sa NIA, magsasaka ang bida. Mercury drug, dalawa na lang. Mercury drug. Tinopak lang ako kanina, ayaw mag-video yung pinrepair ko. Mercury drug, na kasi siguro gamot ay laging bago. Sure service to the Filipino farmers. Banco de Oro, we find ways. Ano yon? Sa NIA naman, we make improvement for the quality of life. We find ways to improve the quality of life of every Filipinos. Okay, yung kalaban ng Channel 2, Channel 7, kapuso ng bawat Pilipino. Service to the Filipino farmers, our full heart to the Filipino farmers. Isa na lang, dahil ako yung engineer. Alam natin yung Boysen, yung pintura, Boysen, the quality you trust. The service we provide is of quality for the farmers. So pag pinagsama-sama po natin ang mga slogan na ito po ang inihahandog ng NIA sa ating mga magsasaka. Isang magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Okay, yes. Thank you so much for that po, Engineer Leslie Dizon. And sir, I beg to disagree, hindi po nakakaantok yung presentation niyo. Actually, it's very interesting and very enjoyable. Thank you for that, sir, and thank you for that message that you gave us. Ang fun at napaka-memorable naman kasi slogan, ang daming slogan po yung ginamit. So now let's move to our second speaker. So we have already heard from the NIA Central Office. Now we will go a little bit more local. So we will hear now from the National Irrigation Authority here in Northern Mindanao. And now to discuss to us the status of NIA Northern Mindanao and updates about it, let us hear from Engineer Constancio G. Bana-ay Jr., the Regional Manager of NIA Region 10. Hello po, good afternoon po, sir.
Sige.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon to everyone, especially to the organizers of this webinar, the Xavier University, and to the participants nationwide. Once again, good afternoon. Bunti na lang itong lecture kasi yung iba na-tackle na ng previous speaker, ng manager namin sa IEC, doon sa Central Office. So, ipakilala ko muna itong NIA Region 10. Paano ba ito na-organize itong Region 10? So, it was organized last April 1978 by virtue of a Memorandum Circular number 12 series of 1978 na-regionalize na yung regions in Mindanao. So, yung dating Region 8A was retitled to Region 10, 11, and 12 with a regional seat for Region 10 in Cagayan de Oro City, covering 7 provinces of Northern Mindanao: Agusan del Norte, Agusan del Sur, Bukidnon, Camiguin, Misamis Oriental, Misamis Occidental, and Surigao del Norte. And in May 1996, when Caraga Region was organized through Republic Act 7901, the 4 big provinces in Agusan del Sur, Agusan del Norte, Surigao del Sur, and Surigao del Norte, with all their national irrigation system and national irrigation system, were taken out from NIA Region 10. But Lanao del Sur and Lanao del Norte from Region 12 were joined through the mandate of the NIA MC number 47 series of 2002. So with the rationalization program of the government, particularly EO 366 and the EO 718 of NIA Rationalization Plan, effective January 2009, Region 10 was composed of 2 irrigation management offices: the Bukidnon Irrigation Management Office and the Lanao del Norte, Misamis Occidental, Misamis Oriental, Camiguin Irrigation Management Office, or what we call Lamisca IMO. But on December 10, 2013, Lanao del Sur Interim IMO was created. So all in all, as of now, we have 3 irrigation management offices. So these are the location of our 3 irrigation management offices of Region 10, Lamisca, Bukidnon, and Lanao del Sur. But for this topic, we only present to you the areas within the Northern Mindanao. Hindi namin nasali itong Lanao del Sur, which is part of the BARM. So ito yung vision ng NIA that by 2022, NIA is a professional and efficient irrigation agency contributing to the inclusive growth of the country and the improvement of the farmers' quality of life. Katulad ng sinabi ni Manager Leslie. So ito yung mission, to plan, construct, operate, and maintain irrigation systems. So itong plan, construct, and operate, ito yung nag-cover ng development ng irrigation. Yung plan, which we conduct feasibility studies before construction, then construction of these irrigation facilities. Then after construction, we still operate and maintain the irrigation systems together with the farmers. So ito naman yung quality policy ng NIA. We commit to provide efficient, effective, and sustainable irrigation services aimed towards the highest satisfaction of the Filipino farmers. So ang number one talaga nating kliyente nakasentro sa Filipino farmer. Next. So when Manager Leslie presented the irrigation development in the Philippines, this is now the status of irrigation development in Northern Mindanao. From 2013 up to 2020. Okay, ang baseline natin is 2013, which is 53.57%. Then as of the ending calendar year 2020, we are 63.88%. So we are still on track with the national average of 64%. So makita natin dito na from 2013 to 2015, medyo mabagal yung improvement, increment per year. But from 2016 up to 2020, medyo nag-abrupt yung increase in irrigation development. From 58.26% in 2016, naging 63.88% in 2020. So we have a total irrigable area in Northern Mindanao of 121,122 hectares, while our service area is 77,373 hectares. So these are the breakdown. The breakdown of that area. So makita natin dito na out of the 121,122, Bukidnon forms part of the biggest area, which is 81,984. Followed by Lanao del Norte of 13,407, then Misamis Oriental of 13,014. Then Misamis Occidental of 10,164. So that is the data which we are using right now, but we have a proposed updated estimated irrigable area per province, maintaining the same area, 121,122. So overall, we are 63.88%. Makita natin dito na medyo may lumampas na sa kanilang estimated irrigable area. Nag 100% yung Cagayan de Oro sa updated, pero sa level of irrigation development based on our original data, marami na yung naglampas, no? More than 100%, except for Misamis Oriental and Bukidnon, which are still more than 50% irrigation development. So, ito yung comparison in hectares natin sa estimated area at sa irrigated area. So, ang bukid doon is 68% of the area, or total area in Northern Mindanao, while still biggest pa rin sa irrigated area. Followed by Lanao del Norte, Misamis Occidental, and Misamis Oriental. Ito yung status of operation and maintenance natin. Katulad ng sinabi ko kanina na part of the mission of NIA is to operate and maintain irrigation systems. Ito na yung picture ng operation and maintenance natin sa mga national irrigation system from 2015 up to 2020 and our program for 2021. So we have a service area from 2015 of 37,494 in 2015, then by 2020, 39,659. Ang firm of service area, deducting those mentioned by Manager Leslie, kasi from service area, deduct natin yung converted lands, non-restorable, planted with permanent crops, yung coconuts and other crops na hindi na mataniman ng palay, that is a firm up service area. So may comparison, may data rin kami dito as of 2020 because of that Free Irrigation Service Act na libre na yung more than 8 hectares. Out of the service area, firm up service area of 30,918 ang pusa, we have a total of 26,477 hectares ang below 8 hectares ito. So ito yung exempted from paying irrigation fees. Yung farmers na covered ng 26,477. Yung above 8 hectares na magbabayad pa rin ng irrigation fee is this 3,728 hectares. So may operational tayo at saka non-operational. Na-explain ito kanina, no? Yung operational at saka non-operational. So may irrigated area tayo. No? Irrigated area tayo from 2015. Ang total planted area natin both wet and dry season at saka sa third crop is 42,518 hectares ang 2015. By the end of 2020, naging 50,266 hectares ang irrigated area natin sa both wet and dry at third crop. Kaya may ng third crop man. So, makita natin dito na yung cropping intensity, which is by NIA's definition, yung cropping intensity is the ratio of the total annual area irrigated during the wet and the dry season and third crop if any. So, expressed in percentage. So, ito yung kanya. So kung ang area planted during the wet season and dry season is equals to the pusa, ang target natin talaga is 200%. 200%. So from 2015, we are 135% cropping intensity. But by the end of 2020, nag-increase tayo ng sobra, no? Na-break natin yung previous records natin from 2015 to 2019, naging 162%. For this year, 2021, nag-program tayo ng 54,669 hectares na mataniman buong taon, no, for the 2 cropping season. And as of now, ang total area irrigated natin is 52,492.71. So medyo malapit na kasi may iba pang late planting na hindi pa nakatanim sa dry season. Sa wet season. Wet season lang tayo ngayon dito sa Northern Mindanao. So hindi pa tapos yung dry season crop. So medyo kunti na lang, ma-attain na natin yung 177 cropping intensity. As of now, 170%. Expected natin na mas overshoot natin itong 177 na cropping intensity sa National Irrigation System na maging 182% because we have exceeded our target for the dry season. Ang target natin is 24,798 for the first crop at naging 25,772 ang actual. While sa wet season, 26,891 hectares ang target. Nasa 23,701 na tayo. So, ito na naman yung sa communal irrigation system. May 34,105 hectares tayo na service area 2015. By the end of 2020, naging 34,805. May 8 hectares and below tayo na 30,083.56. Ito yung libre na magbayad. Libre ng irrigation fee. Pero may 711 hectares na more than 8 hectares. For the irrigated area, from 32,267 in 2015, by the end of 2020, we have a total irrigated area of 41,025 hectares. So with a cropping intensity from 102% in 2015 to 134% in 2020. For 2021, we have programmed a total of 42,865 hectares na mataniman. And as of now, may 39,315 hectares na ang nataniman. Still, medyo sa dry season, na-shoot na natin yung program na 20,346 hectares. But ongoing pa yung wet season natin na 22,019 na as of now 18,870 hectares yung planted area natin. So with a 128% na cropping intensity. For 2021, may budget tayo na 603,670. No, may breakdown dyan. No? May breakdown tayo na from Bukidnon, 305,670. Considering that it is the biggest province in terms of rice area, so malaki din yung budget. Followed by Misamis Occidental, Lanao del Norte, and Misamis Oriental. So yung budget naman natin is proportionate to the area na potential area for irrigation. So we have a total target new area na ma-open for irrigation of 684 hectares and to restore area of 166 hectares. Restore means these areas are previously irrigated, but due to some damages of irrigation facilities, hindi na sila na-irrigate, kaya dapat nating ma-restore yung irrigated area. So 166 hectares yung naka-program for 2021. For 2022, based on the two-tier budget of the Department of Budget and Management, this is our proposal. No? Proposal pa lang ito, which is subject for deliberation by Congress. So for Tier 1, we have a total budget of 354,230. Itong Tier 1, ito yung continuing projects, no, na which was started previous year ang dapat tapusin. So, sinabing Tier 1. Yung Tier 2 naman is yung bagong projects, no? Bagong projects na ma-open for the year, no? For 2022. So, 354,230 yung proposal natin. Bukidnon pa rin yung malaking slice of the budget of 112,900, followed by the other provinces, no? Lanao del Norte and Misamis Occidental. For Tier 2, may mga Bukidnon pa rin. Bukidnon, Lanao del Norte, 277,000, then Misamis Occidental and Misamis Oriental, with a total budget under Tier 2 981,760. For Tier 1, we have programmed a new area for irrigation of 223 hectares, while restoration of 120 hectares. For Tier 2, we have programmed 460 hectare new area and to restore 1,146 hectares area. So by the way, these restored areas are those areas which was stated in the non-operational areas in the operation and maintenance. So kung ma-realize itong project, minus ito doon sa non-operational areas. So we have this Republic Act 10969, which was in effect last July 24 of 2018. This is an act providing free irrigation service, amending for the purpose Republic Act 3601, which is the NIA Charter, as amended, there appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. So this is the time when President Duterte declared free irrigation na, free na yung irrigation. But in this law, na free pa yung farmer na magbayad ng irrigation, ang government, because niya before, wala kaming budget from DBM for the operation and maintenance. No? Zero budget kami. We greatly rely on the collection of irrigation fees. Yun lang ang ginagamit na pangsahod, pang-operate and maintain sa ating mga irrigation system, galing sa collection. Pero ngayong libre na, we are fully subsidized by the government. No? Yung operation and maintenance is subsidized na ng government, including subsidy of the farmers. We have Irrigators Association handling the operation and maintenance of their areas. So binigyan pa sila ng subsidy ng government. Aside from libre na sila magbayad, ang gobyerno pa ang magbayad sa kanila for the operation and maintenance. So for now, every Irrigators Association, we will be given a subsidy of 150 pesos per hectare for the operation and maintenance of their areas. So meaning, kung may mga 1,000 hectares yan na area o 100 hectares na area, may subsidy siya na 150,000. Tama ba? So, both bayaran sa during the wet and bayaran pa rin siya during the dry season. Aside from that, operation subsidy, may maintenance subsidy din na ibigay ang gobyerno sa kanila, yung mga farmers. May babayaran sila ng 2,800 pesos for every 3.5 kilometers of unlined canals. Yung hindi pa concrete na kanal, bayaran sila ng 2,800 pesos per 3.5. Kung line naman, kung simentado yung kanal ng mga IAs, for every 7 kilometers, babayaran sila ng 2,800 pesos para sa kanilang clearing. So, masaya yung IA na libre na sila, pero bigyan pa sila ng subsidy ng government for their operation and maintenance. But there are IAs na, kasi yung IA is a privately owned organization, they still have a policy na mangulikta pa rin doon sa kanilang mga membro for their maintenance obligation. Sinasabi nilang IA maintenance obligation. So, yung ibang IA nangulikta ng iba't ibang rate galing sa kanilang membro pero hindi na yun i-remit sa NIA. Sa kanila ng pondo yung makulikta ng IA. So as I said by the previous speaker, we have now bagong Executive Order number 138 series of 2021 na signed last June 1, 2021, itong devolution of communal irrigation systems and projects to the local government units. So yung 3 phases of irrigation development na ginawa ng NIA noon sa communal irrigation systems, gagawin na ngayon ng local government units starting 2022. So, ang NIA ngayon may ginawa ng devolution transition plan, no? Yung devolution transition plan where we will give orientation to the different local government units for their communal irrigation systems. By the way, itong communal irrigation system are those projects and systems which is 1,000 hectares and below. 1,000 hectares and below kasi communal or small irrigation projects. While those areas covered more than 1,000, covering more than 1,000 hectares belong to the National Irrigation Systems and Projects. So ito na yung last ng presentation namin, itong challenges in irrigation development. Number 1 in the list is the denudation of the watershed supporting irrigation systems. So mostly, ang mga watershed areas natin ngayon is denuded na, affecting the available water supply. So may mga data tayo, some of our water sources nag-decrease na yung water supply, water discharges, to up to more than 30%, ang pag-decrease ng available water supply. Then, in addition to that, yung heavy siltation, no? Kasi denuded na yung watershed, yung siltation, pag-ulan, pumasok sa mga dams at saka pumasok sa ating mga canals, which reduces the conveyance capacity of our canals. So, kung hindi natin ma-maintain or hindi natin ma-desilk yung canals, yung mga design area natin hindi na ma-attain kasi kulang na yung tubig na papasok at silted na yung mga canals. Number 2 is the massive quarrying within the prohibited distance from dams and other structures. So, based on the Water Code of the Philippines, bawal man mag-quarry 1 kilometer upstream at saka 1 kilometer downstream of our dams. But there are areas where quarrying encroaches this prohibited distance. Merong 500 meters na lang, which if this will be done tremendously, magbaba yung riverbed elevation, endangering the stability of our dams. Number 3 is water delivery is affecting construction or improvement activities. For our existing systems, where we are conducting rehabilitation and restoration, it is we have encountered problems regarding the scheduling of water deliveries. Because in 1 year, mga 8 months na may tubig ang kanal. ay 8 months for 2 cropping season, 8 months yung 8 months yung may tubig, meaning 4 months na lang yung effective na construction period. So kaya yung ibang project natin na instead of 1 year, yung 1 year, yung 12 months covers 3 years. No? Yung 12 months na kasi 4 months man lang ang effective construction period because of water deliveries. Number 4 is the peace and order condition. Lalong-lalo na dito sa ating region, may mga areas din na may peace and order problems. Number 5 is right of way problems. No, yung daanan ng kanal, mga canal alignments, may mga problema tayo sa right of ways. Na minsan okay na yung parents pag-uwi ng mga anak galing sa labas, may no trespassing na. So it will delay our project construction. Number 6 is may ibang mga farmers pa rin na implement ng traditional farming practices. Yung ibang lugar, umabot na ng 200 kabans per hectare na average yield, pero yung iba, nasa 60 pa rin, nasa 70 or 80, yung pinaka-highest production. Number 7, may mga areas tayo na absente yung landowner. Kaya hindi na-develop yung service area kahit na irrigated na pero hindi pa rin nataniman. So that forms part of the non-operational area as presented a while ago. Number 8 is the lack of farmer beneficiaries capital in land development and crop production. So dalawang aspect ito. Land development. There are areas in our irrigation systems na kailangan mo pang i-develop, no? Kailangan mo pang i-develop into rice lands. Kasi irregular pa yung topography or terrain ng kanilang lupa. Pero dahil sa lack of capital, hindi nila ma-develop yung area. So we have so many systems na ganyan, no? Ganito. Kulang sa land development at saka kulang sa capital yung farmer for the land development. At saka yung kulang ng capital for crop production. Kaya kahit na may cropping calendar tayo, na i-introduce for our national system or communal irrigation system, hindi pa rin masunod kasi yung iba nahuli kasi kulang pa sa kapital. So may mga areas tayo na kahit sabihin natin December lahat dapat nakatanim na lahat. Pero yung iba hanggang February may nagtatanim pa kasi maghanap pa ng kapital. Number 9 is this COVID-19 pandemic affected the mobility of the service provider, yung mga contractors natin, yung mga employee natin na nag-monitor sa tubig, yung mga field inspection natin affected sa COVID-19. Minsan, pag mag-field, pagbalik, na quarantine. And number 10 is this land conversion. Katulad ng sinabi ng previous speaker, ito ang isang problema natin ngayon na yung irrigable area natin or irrigated area natin is kinakain na ng development. Minsan, nakita natin na instead of pala yung itinanim, mga bahay na yung itinanim doon sa service area natin. Kaya further reduce our irrigated areas. So, ito yung 2-minute video presentation natin kung ano yung accomplishment ng Region 10 in terms of irrigation development. Last presentation na ito.
New normal has not been easy for everyone to embrace, especially on the leading essential like food, which has been greatly scarce due to high public demand. The National Irrigation Administration Region 10 responded to the mandate of Rice-Sufficient Philippines by completing many irrigation projects and restoring damaged irrigation systems to generate and restore irrigable areas that will enable the farming industry to thrive amidst COVID-19. Who would have thought that the long-awaited Talakag Irrigation Project would have its successful test run during the pandemic? It is also worth noting that Lindongan Communal Irrigation System, which sits in a war-torn area, is now complete. Not to mention the Tongan Communal Irrigation System, which is situated in a remote area of Lanao del Sur, having no electricity, challenging access roads, and unfavorable weather conditions, now fully operational. NIA Region 10 is proud of its 42 completed projects ready for mass turnover. A testimony of commitment, cooperation, and concern. This pandemic sought destruct to a lot of industries. However, NIA bounces back saying, kahit sa pandemya, tuloy ang daloy niya.
Kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa Region 10, sa National Irrigation Administration, kay Sir Constancio Bana-ay Jr. at saka sa atin sa satellite office na pinamumunuan ni Sir Engineer Paul at saka yung mga kasamahan nila sa NIA na nagtulong-tulong upang makuha namin yung proyekto na to, itong irrigation, dahil ito ang pinakaunang tanggap namin ang galing sa gobyerno na proyekto.
Maraming salamat po, NIA!
Thank you very much, and once again, good afternoon.
Okay, thank you so much for that presentation po, Engineer Bana-ay. Now, sir, is it all right if we proceed to the open forum na part of our webinar?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so sir, let's proceed to the first question. This is a question from one of our viewers, Sir Derby Frias, one of our suki na viewer natin. So, Sir Derby is asking po, is there a way that your office will have partners with the agri schools to sustain the projects? Marami na po ang dismayadong farmers and even resorted to killing and fighting for water system here in Libuna, Bukidnon. And also, can you expound more about the context ng irrigation system ng Bukidnon?
Yung particularly yung Libuna, we are undertaking a feasibility study on the proposed irrigation project in Libuna. Nasa first phase pa ng irrigation development yung area na yan, no? Under feasibility study. But also on other areas in Bukidnon, okay naman yung yung Bukidnon, considering that it is the biggest rice producing province in the region. Nandyan yung pinakamalaking national irrigation system natin, yung Pulangi, yung river irrigation system na ngayon nakaproduce na ng mga outstanding irrigators association. No? At saka yung ibang national irrigation system dyan sa Bukidnon. Okay naman yung performance ng mga IAs dyan. So may ibang area pa rin, may ibang area lang na proposed lang for irrigation projects pa.
Okay, I see. Thank you so much, sir. Now let's go to the next question.
Ay ma'am, regarding yung ma'am,
Yes
regarding
po,
yung
opo.
regarding yung partnership with schools,
Yes po.
we are open for that. No? We are open for any proposal na mag-partner tayo, lalong-lalo na sa crop production technologies at saka yung strengthening ng ating mga IAs, mga Irrigators Association, kung ma-introduce yung bagong technology ng rice farming.
Okay, I see. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, sir. And that's good to hear, no, na meron ding existing na partnerships then between higher education institutions and of course with NIA. So, sir, just an additional question. How can, for us, especially since we have a lot of academies who are watching right now in our live, and if they are interested to partner with you, what is the process po ba?
They will just send us a proposal kung ano yung maging role ng everyone, no, ng NIA at saka yung school, kung ano yung expertise na dapat nilang i-introduce in partnering with us. So para natin yung terms of reference, ano yung maging effective na responsibilities natin sa partnership. Magpadala ng proposal para mapagstadihan natin kung ano yung maganda.
Okay, thank you so
In
much.
fact, ma'am, my partner, kami collaboration with the USTP. Sila yung nag-conduct ng namin noon. For the last 3 years, sila yung nag-conduct ng farmer satisfaction survey namin.
Okay. So, thank you, sir, for clearing that up. And I know na maraming interested, and even I think here in Xavier, interesado din sila. How about, sir, some extension materials? Meron po ba, or pwede po bang mag-request from NIA for extension materials, or even learning materials that our higher education, the universities can use din po?
Yes, ma'am. Available lang sa amin. We can provide. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's good. That's exciting. And I hope those who are watching will also take this opportunity kasi ang laking tulong niyan eh. Sige, so thank you so much, sir. Now let's proceed to the next question. Ito naman po, somebody is asking po, since you've mentioned earlier about land conversion, no? So some of the rice fields in Northern Mindanao were converted to non-agricultural use, and parang nasabi na rin yan kanina. So what are the strategies of NIA Region 10 to address this?
Nationwide naman yung strategy natin, ma'am. Nationwide. No? For every application for conversion, mag-apply sila sa NIA magbigay ang NIA ng Certificate of Irrigation Coverage. No, whether the area applied is within or outside of any existing and proposed irrigation system or irrigation project. So magbigay kami ng certification, dalhin nila doon sa approving, kasi hindi man NIA ang mag-approve ng conversion, yung Department of Agrarian Reform. So dalhin nila doon, yung authorized lang na magpirma ng Certificate of Irrigation Coverage for conversion is our administrator doon sa central office. Siya yung authorized na magpirma. So yung amin lang dito is yung field-based investigation kung within ba or outside a proposed or existing irrigation project.
Okay, I see. Thank you, sir, for perfectly describing the process, no, and making it clear to all of our viewers. Now, let's go to the next question. This one po, concerning the devolution of the irrigation programs to LGU, which is, we've already discussed na nga with NIA head office, but also we'd like to hear from you, no, here in the region in particular. So, do you think our LGUs here in the region have the capacity to maintain the existing irrigation systems or implement new projects?
May devolution transition plan tayo na ginawa. Ang transition plan includes capacitating the LGUs. No? Kasama na yan sa program ng NIA na i-capacitate yung LGUs on how to prepare a feasibility study of irrigation projects, how to implement, and how to operate and maintain irrigation system. Kasi yung sa NIA kasi is we are having our irrigators association as partners in irrigation development. So from the planning up to operation and maintenance, kasama yung farmers, kasama yung irrigators association. So kaya i-train natin yung LGU na ganun din ang gagawin. Ganun din ang gagawin na in partnership pa rin ng irrigators association. So starting this year, may transition plan na tayo or program or budget na for capacity building to LGUs before formal turnover. Saka yung devolution naman, in 3 phases, no? May phase 1, may phase 2, at saka phase 3. Yung phase 1, ang unang ma-turnover is yung operational systems as of now, as of 2020. Yung operational na siya is yun ang unang ma-turnover. Yung may gagawin pa, sa phase 2 na siya. Yung tatapusin by 2022, doon na sa phase 3 turnover. Sa 2023 na siya.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And that's good to hear that there is really a transition plan that is happening, and then it's you're taking it step by step, so that to ensure, no, that our LGUs will really be able to handle this, all the things that will be given to them, or the powers and the responsibilities as well that will be given to them. Now,
Right now, ma'am, we are coordinating with LGUs na, from the governors to the municipal mayors, that there is a devolution for these systems. So aware na sila, no, na may i-devolve na yung communal irrigation system sa kanila. So yung capacity building na lang ang susunod na activity.
Okay, that's good. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Now, of course, let's go to the next question. And I think this, the next 3 questions that we have are really in general na. And since I think Engineer Dizon is still with us din naman, so if meron ka rin ding thoughts, sir, you can also answer them. Kasi, yes, in general nga to. So, pwedeng both of you can answer. Although, of course, this is addressed din to Sir Engineer Bana-ay. Now let's go. This is a question from Sir Derby Frias. So, engineer, in line with the mechanization and modernization, farmers would really prefer the conventional practice due to lack of support, and there are a lot of requirements that need to comply. So, maka-discourage. What are your takeaways sa ganitong situations?
For us here in Region 10, we are coordinating with the Department of Agriculture. So may marami na tayong IAs ngayon na nakatanggap na ng mga farm equipments, no? May maraming IAs na because of our coordination with the Department of Agriculture. No? So yun lang ang kasi ang major player ng farm mechanization is the Department of Agriculture. So, ginawa lang ng NIA is to coordinate lang with this agency kung sino yung mga IAs na pwede nang bigyan ng farm equipments. Baka si Manager Leslie may idagdag?
Yes. Opo. How about, yes nga po, si Engineer Dizon. Anything to add po, sir, about the question?
Tama po si Director Bana-ay, yung nabanggit nga niya. talagang it's really a problem nga yan, shifting from the traditional method, from the kalabaw, magkakaroon tayo ng traktora, harvester, transplanter. And then ang sasabihin ulit naman ng farmer, saan nakukuha ng pan-diesel? Kung titingnan po natin, ang mandate namin is for irrigated rice to provide irrigation water. Yung po, kung titingnan talaga natin, yung pong mechanization yan, that is under PhilMex. It is an attached agency po ng Department of Agriculture. Sila po yung mga gumagawa, nag-invento ng mga very a cheaper harvester, transplanter that farmers can afford. So kung talagang yung mechanization po natin, yun nga po, it will be a collaborative effort between the Department of Agriculture through PhilMex and NIA. Kasi nga po, sino ang gagamit niyan? It's magsasaka, kami naman mag-ano ng tubig, magbibigay ng tubig. Kaya nga po, kung dumating na talaga yung panahon na talagang we have to mechanize para we can compete with Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand, it will be a collaborative effort para mabigyan din natin sila ng suporta or ma-include natin yan sa institutional development, sa institutional component, sa agricultural improvement para we can have a very nice coordination for the mechanization ng ating mga farmlands.
Okay, I see. Thank you so much po, no, for both of our speakers. So yes, indeed, it is a collaborative effort nga, and hopefully all the agencies would really unite and also encourage our farmers to really shift to modern means na, so that we can keep up then with other countries, no. Now let's go for the next question. Again, this is a general question, so both of you could answer then. So what are NIA's strategies to prevent flood disasters during occurrence of severe weather disturbances like typhoons? Let's start po with RM Bana-ay.
So, let our projects natin ngayon, lalo na yung na-present ni Manager Dizon kanina, yung mga street projects natin, ano, it is form part of the flood control program, ng mga impounding projects. So, right now, in Region 10, may tanggob tayo na small reservoir irrigation project na tapos na. May FS tayo, yung Dilapa sa Bukidnon, may Claveria, Street, at saka Sultan Naga, Dimapuro, Lanao del Norte. So yun ang mga areas na palaging binabaha, lalo na doon sa Lanao del Norte. So yun ang isang mga problem, mga solutions sa flooding doon sa mga areas. So itong mga impounding projects natin. At saka yung may bagong programa niya ngayon under kay Manager Dizon, yung watershed management. Kasi yung isang reason na bakit palaging bumabaha is yung dinudid na yung watershed. Kasama na yan sa programa ng NIA.
And Engineer Dizon po, anything to add po? Mute po ata.
Nagkakaroon ako ng problema sa audio. Paputol-putol, di ko maintindihan yung...
Ay, okay na po. Naririnig na po namin kayo siguro po. Ay, oo, ako. Sorry po. Medyo nakamute nga po. Hindi nakita ng technical team. Anyway po, anything to add po sa sinabi ni Engineer Bana-ay doon about sa typhoons, yung ano po yung ginagawa ng NIA for severe weather disturbances like typhoons?
Magdadagdag lang po ako sa nasabi ni Director. Actually, when I was still the chief ng operation section sa kabilang opisina po. So what we did to address this mga type, we authored, actually I was the one who authored this one. I authored a memorandum circular, the creation of a task force calamity wherein it specifically narrates kung ano po yung gagawin natin ay yung mga protocol natin for calamities. So anong gagawin dyan? Ano ba dapat para even yun sa pagpo-program po ng mga typhoon damages natin. Level 1, level 2, immediate parang band-aid solution, and the other one, level 2, it is classified as ito po yung mga long-term solutions. We have these procedural interventions that we authored dun sa kabilang opisina po when I was there to address these mga calamities. I had also one MC that I authored about yung mga proper operation ng mga gates during flood and so on and so forth. So what we did here is puro mga procedural interventions to address any eventualities. And then for sa mga calamities naman po, as I have said, yes, kanina po, meron tayong mga climate change adaptation works. That is to assure that our irrigation facilities and structures are climate resilient and climate proof facilities that can withstand the test of time. Yung po yung mga some of our interventions, physical and procedural interventions to address this worldwide problem, the climate change.
Okay, thank you so much po to both of our speakers. Now let's proceed to the next question. So earlier, Engineer Bana-ay have mentioned about the Free Irrigation Act of 2018. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of making irrigation free for farmers? Again, both of you can share your thoughts about this question po. Start with Engineer Bana-ay.
There are disadvantages and advantages. First, the advantages. At least it is advantage on the part of the farmers, especially those areas which are pump irrigation systems. Anyway, wala man dito sa atin yung pump irrigation system na malaki yung binabayaran na irrigation fee. No, there are areas na magbayad ng 6 kabans per hectare per cropping. So all in all, 12 kabans yung ibayad nila for irrigation fees. Dito sa atin, sa Region 10, yung maximum lang na babayaran ng farmer is yung 5 kabans per hectare. So 5 kabans per hectare. So let's say kung 1,000 pesos yung per kaban, they will paying 5,000 per hectare sa NIA. So yun ang nawawala. No? Nawawala ng buwan. So on the farmer's advantage, but it is a disadvantage to NIA because NIA is a government-owned and controlled corporation where it must have an internally generated income kasi GOCC man kami. So yun ang major source of income na nawala sa NIA. No, yung irrigation fees. So yun ang isa, no? Yun ang advantage ng kwan. Pero mostly on the part of the farmer, advantage talaga yun.
Okay, yes. Oo nga, that's correct nga po, no. Advantageous talaga siya sa part ng ating farmers. Pero nga, sa sinabi nyo nga, meron ding mga disadvantages din, in NIA's part din naman.
Ang advantage lang namin, ma'am, ang advantage lang namin is hindi na kami mangulikta para makasahod kami. Kasi subsidized naman kami. Noon, dapat mangulikta talaga kami. Mag-exert talaga ng effort para masunduhan kami. Ngayon, wala na. Okay na kami kahit na walang koleksyon.
Oo nga po. How about po, Engineer Dizon? Anything to add po, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, yung FISA, which is the Free Irrigation Service Act of 2018, kung titignan natin siya on a macro point of view, it has its advantages and disadvantages. Tama po si Director doon. Ang disadvantages sa NIA is we call it opportunity loss, na deprive kami ng pangungulek na yung 3 kabans and 2 kabans for dry and wet, that's 5 kabans times 50 kilos times 17, we come up with 4,250 ata, hindi ko nagkakamali, a year. At dapat na makolekta ng bawat, nang makolekta ni NIA sa mga farmers. Yun po yung nawala sa NIA. But of course, we were subsidized by national government. Yung po disadvantage, there is that opportunity loss on the part of NIA. Now, was that opportunity loss favorable sa farmer? Yung ibang farmers po, ayaw nila yun. Ayaw nila yung free irrigation. Pero naman po na gusto nila. Makakatipid ako ng 4,250. So it will be a big money to spend with my family and part dun sa pagtatanim ko. Ngayon, nawala yung 4,000, nakasave ang farmer ng 4,250. There were farmers naman na parang ayaw nila. Parang, sabi ko parang ayaw nila. Sa mga bakit po nila ayaw? Because under yung previous scheme po ng mga IAs natin, Irrigators Association, meron tayong mga contracts with them. Type A, Type 1, Type 2, Type 3, and Type 4, Type 5 pa yata. Ngayon, ano ba yung mga kontratang yan? Meron silang yung canal clearing lang. Merong isang type dyan na collection. Mangungulekta sila ang mga IAs. So yung nakolekta nilang yon, kung 1 million yon ng isang IA, meron silang, dahil dyan ay joint systems management, meron silang hatian po. Merong 60-40, 50-50, 70-30. Sabihin na natin 40% yung IA. You collected 1 million, you have 400,000. That is for IAs. So, kahit sabihin natin 30%, they have 300,000. So, yung iba po na magaling talagang mangolekta, ayaw nila yon. Ang nawala lang sila is 4,200, pero yung naman, yung kinita ni IA na around 30% to 40% of what was collected, parang yun ang nawala. So in some cases, yung ibang farmers po gusto nila, yung iba naman ayaw nila. Siguro nalugi naman kami. Kaya nga nagbigay po si government, yung nasabi ni Director kanina, yung O&M subsidy namin na 150 at saka yung isa naman yung 2,000 plus, para makompensate naman yung mga nawala ring income sa kanila. So yun lang po. So it is a disadvantage and an advantage sa mga ibang farmers po. But definitely, sa amin po, nawala talaga, quantifiable yun eh. Yung 5 hectares na sinisingil namin. Pero sa ibang farmers naman, ibang IA naman, yun nga, medyo nalugi kami. Mas marami kaming nakukolekta nun. Yun po.
I see. Yes. Thank you so much, not to both of our speakers, for really enlightening us with the situation about this, about the Free Irrigation Act. So that is very good information that I think is really good that our viewers learned about it. Now, let's go to the next question. I think this one is specifically for Engineer Bana-ay because it concerns about Region 10. So ito po, and I think this is the last question din po, sir. Why is it that Bukidnon and Misamis Oriental irrigation development is only at 50% compared to other provinces?
Bukidnon has the biggest potential irrigable area. So with the pacing of irrigation development in the region, medyo proportionate yung pagbigay ng pondo. Hindi naman kay lahat yung, kasi malaki yung Bukidnon, malaki yung Misamis Oriental, doon na lahat yung pondo. So, bibigyan din natin yung ibang maliit na kwan. With the budget na binigay sa atin, hating kapatid din yun. Hating kapatid din yung pagbigay ng pondo sa mga provinces. Kaya yung malaking area, medyo sumabay na rin doon sa maliit na area sa irrigation development. Pero the biggest part, the biggest slice, pupunta pa rin doon sa malaki yung area.
Yes.
Yun, sa pundo tayo magwan. Sa pundo tayo na ang difference.
Yes, oo nga. That's fair naman yan. Dapat talaga i-proportionate natin yung budget, di ba? Para wala ring province here in Region 10 that is left behind by NIA. So thank you so much for that, sir. And of course, before I ask for a last message from Engineer Banayo, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to Bukidnon IMO kasi sabi nila the MIDP meeting daw is paused to watch this live. So hello po sa inyo. Good afternoon po dyan sa IMO. IMO, Nia Bukidnon IMO. So now, of course, sir, as I've said, that was our last question. And same with Engineer Dizon, we'd also like to ask for a closing message from you para sa ating mga viewers.
Very short lang, ma'am. With this pandemic since last year, we will not stop. No? We did not stop. No? We did not stop in the operation and maintenance of our systems. We did not stop in the construction of our irrigation projects, and we did not stop the preparation of our feasibility studies of our proposed projects. Kaya katulad ng nakita natin sa video, kahit sa pandemya, tuloy ang daloy niya. So yun lang, ma'am. And once again, thank you very much for inviting us with this webinar. It is a great opportunity for us to share our experience as NIA. By the way, NIA is a convergence of all disciplines, courses. No? This is the agency where civil engineers, agricultural engineers, agriculturists, social workers meet in one agency. Multidisciplinary kami.